DreamHack Masters Las Vegas is brought to you by Asus, Republic of Gamers, HyperX, Monster Energy, live at MGM Grand.
Back in the City of Lights. The sun has now set here in Vegas, and indeed, I presume so. I mean, this casino is very dark. Either way, we're here in the center of the Nevada desert, and we have got another game for you. This time, it's time to battle for a spot in the playoffs. Will Astralis jump straight, foot first, into the playoff spot, straight their victory over in the Atlanta E-League Major? Straight to the point. Straight to the point, that's me. Always. I actually don't know what time it is. There are no clocks or lights.
Get Flavor Flav.
It's only 3:15. I thought it was like 8 p.m.
Straight fire.
I thought the sun had set. The sun hasn't set.
Really matters if it
four games
has or
to go,
hasn't.
Alex.
That's unreal.
4 games to go.
4 games to go.
Halfway through.
Boy!
I need a nap. Moving on, Astralis OpTic.
Did you bring your ruggy?
Bring my blankie.
Yeah,
Okay.
jeez.
Okay, this is taking a dark turn, and maybe it will for one of the teams here competing. Astralis OpTic will. One of them's going to have to go down and battle for survival in a best of 3. But first, the question starts with Astralis have yet to be tested really here, Duncan. They have a chance now get to the playoffs with a hop, skip, and a jump over OpTic. But complexity, we didn't even see them kind of almost warm up.
No, and obviously complexity didn't look good in general. And it's not as though it was Astralis just dominating them. And we saw even Astralis early in the game, actually. It got down to some 2v2s and some 1v1s. So, yeah, it felt just too easy at that point. And actually, that's really, I think, the storyline for this game is because, sure, OpTic, yeah, they could surprise. You know, no one really knows what to expect from them with Hiko. But in theory, if you're Astralis, you wanted OpTic to somehow get through that match. You didn't want to have to play North, who's retooled, you know, a Danish, domestic rivalry. So I think if you're Astralis, you're happy about this. But, yeah, you haven't necessarily had a real test. This hasn't been like a world-class opposition who could maybe beat you yet.
Yeah, I mean, so far it hasn't been great. You can see in the groups themselves that OpTic have already caused that upset. I feel like that was one of the biggest ones of the first day outside of perhaps Fnatic Gambit.
I think it was probably helped by Inferno, though. You could see that was that really muddied the waters.
How was it described in the interview with AZ?
A joker.
Yeah, a joker pick. So, I mean, it didn't work out for them, and OpTic did manage to pick up a fantastic win, which now puts them in this position. Now, when Rush was speaking in an interview, Jason, he said, yeah, we always seem to meet Astralis offline. Why has this suddenly become a bit of a recurring trend? It's just been a bit of a lucky break?
I mean, they both really peaked at the same moment, which was E-League Season 2 finals. I mean, Astralis had that good run in Oakland, but outside of that, OpTic just kind of came out of nowhere in E-League Season 2. They met in the finals there, and then they were the 2 best teams with all kind of the shuffling and all the other teams who were about to go through some things. All the other teams are underperforming at the end of the year. They were the 2 clear-cut favors, in the last few events of 2016. So that's kind of where they were on that collision course.
And I'm so glad you mentioned those finals, because I think it's definitely necessary that we can you quickly regale us with how those grand finals played out? Because, I mean, the Green Wall thrived.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I mean, obviously it was just like that was like when the emergence of Rush as like a 3rd star of this team who came out and who was very, very effective in that game. But, the big thing was the overperformance from NAF as well in the 3rd map. But that was also, remember, that 3rd map was heavily in the favor of Astralis in those finals. And then it was the comeback from OpTic that was crazy to watch. But those 2 teams, it just seems like right at the end, all their individual players, all the pieces started clicking together. And it was just kind of a case of OpTic surprising all through that bracket, and as they continue to do to end the year.
Yeah, I think while we're talking about individual players on Astralis, especially, of course, thriving in those grand finals, one name does stick out. It was, of course, yes, Magisk was recognized for his performance previously. I'm just jumping to different teams for some reason.
Okay.
But Device was someone that we have to highlight here. I mean, he's phenomenal with the AWP, and something that we are going to highlight now is he's a master of something in particular. We've had a lovely series so far. We've looked at masters of pistol rounds. We've looked at masters of consistency. Now, we're going to be looking at a master of Consistency.
I was wondering where you were going.
Just gonna walk it off. All right, Device is a master of consistency.
Pistols, now consistency.
Master of Deve.
Deve.
I think my consistency comes from finding a lot of routines that I have when I'm home at tournaments, which consists of what I'm eating, how much I'm sleeping, if I'm training.
Oh, Device! He was falling fast! He gets the shot!
He can both be really offensive and really defensive. He is really good at fitting his playstyle to the opponents.
He has a strong mind. I think he's gonna be one of the best players in 2017.
Being able to have the same balance I have at home is something that makes me really confident in myself, and I just think it's also because I'm pretty good at the game, obviously. Yeah.
It was brief, but we learned a lot. Zipnik's bold claim that we're going to be seeing Device as one of the best players of this year, and alongside of that, routine. Chad, what do we make of that? Routine is a key to success and consistency.
I guess it's important.
I can understand it, for sure.
Yeah, it's hard to replicate in a lot of places, right? From home to a tournament.
I mean, I always see him like tweeting like, oh, off for my run, doesn't matter where he is, what time it is, what hotel, what country, he's
stuff
there.
like that's always important. I remember some tournaments where nothing was always like kind of doing stretches and stuff before getting in and playing and loosening yourself up that way. I never was too big on that. There was a period of time though where I played good at in Cologne, that major, and then at that point I didn't have any coffee for like a week in the lead up. I was like, I'm off coffee. I didn't have coffee for a whole year. I still played bad. So
it wasn't coffee then.
It wasn't coffee.
Nailed that.
Move on to the next thing.
I haven't found anything since.
Okay.
So yeah, it must be important. But I think the way that he played at that major, just seeing him outclass other AWPers of similar skill level was the most impressive thing to me. There's one clip that stands out on Mirage where he out-AWPed Guardian, and then he was jumping up onto the balcony on Mirage and just absolutely schooled Simple, and it was great to watch.
I think it's really interesting that Astralis is a team, and Device specifically, that we've always talked. They always have the choking moniker around them because they've done it so many times in the past. But actually, at the moment, I think if you talking to players and talking to the Astralis team, I think they have they're probably the strongest mentality of any group of players we have competing in Counter-Strike at the moment. Device specifically, very, very strong mentally at the moment. I attribute that a lot. I mean, Astralis is probably the best organization in terms of the support they've provided this team to become better competitors, not necessarily specifically into CSGO, but just competing in general. Yeah. I think you see a lot of that in how Device and Astralis is preparing and coming into tournaments.
I mean, during the major, I had an opportunity to interview, I think it was 3 of the 5 players, and every single one of them at some point during that interview mentioned the sports psychologist and the work they did one-on-one.
They've set the bar, right?
Yeah, they truly have, and it's interesting to see it paying off so swiftly. I mean, it says this is quite a recent change, and already Astralis are now defending major champions. We have to talk about their opponents, though. Already, of course, they played an awful lot. It is OpTic. Duncan, what do you make of OpTic? I mean, you in your rankings, you've been recently pumping out. What have you seen for OpTic?
I mean, with Stanislaw, I actually thought they were a pretty good team. I do think they got a bit overhyped. Like, we know the end of last year was a very confused period. That's why all these roster moves came out for so many teams. We know, for example, the ECS one isn't as good as the E-League one. The E-League is a big result because of the teams you beat there. Yeah. The ECS one, there was stand-ins at that tournament. Some teams didn't qualify, obviously, for the actual offline finals anyway because of that crazy, like, 5-way tie for second place or something. There was a few factors that made that one a little bit softer as a tournament. Even so, though, for an NA team, I think they're probably the most solid maybe we've ever seen, actually. Like, Liquid, those are just one-off runs at the majors. Cloud9, okay, that was just a month, basically, This team actually had proper T-sides, they had a routine. I mean, it wasn't a lot of intricate stuff, but they had executes, they could hit them again and again. And I think they'd finally gotten to a place where every member of the team, in some sense, contributed. And so that's why a lot of us, it was kind of out of left field that Stanislaw left in that way. And so this is clearly a new OpTic because you've obviously brought Peacemaker in as well as Hiko, so you can't really play to all those old strengths. But I said it coming into the tournament, like, people are going to write them off because they lost that integral in-game leader, so they can't be the same old OpTic. There's still a lot of weapons in this team, though.
Absolutely, there is, and one of the weapons may very well be their map pool. What would you do considering these have played so often, and especially in an offline environment? I presume the map veto does get quite dicey.
Yeah, they've certainly switched it up a lot. The interesting thing is actually also OpTic had one of the strongest map pools I've seen from an NA team in a long time. Now the interesting thing that changed, okay, is when they first met in that E-League final. Yeah, we played Train, Astralis won it. We played Cobblestone, Astralis led it through just to test it, did not work out well for them, and the decider was Overpass. So we know they both love Overpass and Train. Beyond that, though, Then we saw this scenario where they were switching it up. Now they were trying, should we play Cash against them? They were trying all this stuff at ECS. The problem is the ECS results where they really got crushed. Like, they didn't even get to double digits on these maps. And then they obviously played Train again at the major qualifier, at the major itself, actually. And that was a game where it was reasonably close, but you could see Astralis was the better team. So I feel as though actually the OpTic guys, they still have to have some confidence in Train, but I feel like that's the one in theory, if anything, you can get away from. Something like Overpass feels like a reasonable middle ground to go to.
Something I'm surprised we haven't seen from OpTic is Nuke, right? Because they were not like hugely tactical in the sense of like that executes were awesome or anything unusual. It was that they had like a brute force style of play where all the players would stand up. Yeah. And that's what I think you were touching on, where you said like we saw all the players had something to contribute, and at any given moment someone could get a 3K and it would turn the round on its head, and that's very impressive to see. And with these players, like I remember Naf when he was playing in Liquid, and he was almost a non-factor back then.
Yeah, I mean, he used to have a lot of troubles he was very, very up and down. We've seen him be a little bit more consistent since OpTic came into things and kind of stepped into their own. I think big thing.
You got to figure they're going to ban Nuke here as the last one.
You'd hope so, right? Unless they're
unless that's the Joker pick. Yeah.
I still think Train. Yeah, they like it, but that's going to be a very scary prospect.
I think they're going to go for. Oh no, we're going for the Nuke one.
I guess you can study a lot on what Astralis have done on Nuke, whereas you can't study on what OpTic have done on Nuke, because first of all, Hiko's new, and we haven't seen them play it a lot, right? Yeah. So it's an interesting pick. I like it. It's brave. It's ballsy. I
think the big thing with it, as well as with a new in-game leader and with a new player on Train, you have to be very organized on that map. You have to very much know what you're going to do.
Would that not apply to Nuke as well? I mean, that's probably something that I could attribute to Nuke as well.
I think Nuke is a little bit easier, in my opinion, with some options. Like you're able to turtle up in the inner bomb site. Your rotations aren't always as confused if you can just say, kind of condense things towards the bomb site. You have the quick rotates. You can set up some simple crossfires. Train, I always think that it just gets so hectic out there if you're a new player shoving into it. I think the one benefit they might have had on Train is the fact that Hiko can play the inner bomb site, and that's always a nice tool to have. But I think I'm very curious if Peacemaker's calling for this team right now. I would imagine that would have to be it. That's because that can lessen the fact that Naf has to be involved.
Yeah, no, I did see a statement from him. He stated that Naf is doing the calls. I'm just there if he can't think of anything. I think was an abridged version of what he did say.
It's always good to have that extra voice, right? Even if it's just like to keep everybody calm and stuff like that.
Let's start putting predictions on the board. We're way back from you, Moses. You seem kind of a little bit of confidence from the Nuke pick. Does it go OpTic's way?
I do like it over Train. I'm still going to stick with Astralis on this. The big thing that I saw at the major with Astralis is not necessarily how good they were initially. It's their ability to adapt against all the different opponents and how good all those opponents that they're able to find the winning whatever combination, the winning tactic that they need to use. So I don't know if OpTic's going to be able to have that in their pocket.
Still wouldn't be surprised to see OpTic. It seems like that's the general consensus. What are you saying, Sponge?
I think that you're going to see Astralis shaken. I think that pick is going to be really weird for them, and they're not going to know what to expect. So I'm going to make a really bad prediction, and I'm going to go with OpTic.
Well, look at you covering all your bases there. I'm going for a bad prediction of this is definitely not going to happen, OpTic.
Yeah.
Don't like that. Don't
play
like
that back if they win.
Confidence, please. Confidence. Conviction. I'd like your prediction with conviction.
Yeah,
please.
I'm going to take Astralis for this one. When I saw them play against Virtus.pro, who are the best Nuke team, they still looked pretty good. They were in all the way up to like 12. Exactly. They had a T-side, even though it's a map that in theory is right down the bottom of their map pool. So I think, sure, having their new player, the OpTic guys can surprise maybe, but I still think Astralis is going to win this one.
Okay, 1 for OpTic, 2 for Astralis. Let's get another 2 predictions on the board. Henry G and Sadakist are standing by, waiting in the wings. You with us, boys?
Yeah, I almost fell asleep listening to you guys, but I'm here.
Oh, good.
Honest Matt as usual.
Nice guy.
He's a delight.
Master
Always
insomnia.
is.
We love it.
Now, it does seem like we've got one believing in OpTic and a good justification behind both. What are you saying over on the caster desk?
I think Astralis is a pretty safe pick here overall. I think their Nuke is pretty solid. I really like their CT side, especially Zipex and Device on this map. I think Zipex towards the ramp room, very solid, very good at rotations, actually getting down towards lower, surviving, and Device outside as well. I think, from what I can see as well, they're starting on the CT side, so I don't see OpTic breaking them down.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, oh yeah, we've got the information. We're in the game over here.
Well, Matt, there are Canadians in the server. You surely
Yeah, you know what? That's all good and well, but Canadians suck at Counter-Strike. I'm just going to say it. Sorry, Shroud. I'm going to go with Astralis on this one as well. I think it's a safe bet.
Aggressive, needlessly,
OpTic.
one would say.
Matt
I'm the nicest Canadian ever, and I'm sorry. All right.
Calm down, Don Cherry.
Yeah, there we go. I would say Astralis is a safe bet after the major. I think OpTic still has a little bit of work to do. Yeah, they've played each other a lot. Astralis.
Nice.
OpTic drew first blood at E-League, obviously, but Astralis is definitely on form as of late.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of your hair. We'll leave
Thank
you
you.
to it.
I'm going to get this cable out of my way, Alex. It's good that they're gone. I'm glad. It's just me and you. We're alone now, Henry.
You mastered that cable now?
Yeah, I'm a master of all cables.
Yes.
Some would say. Nuke, again, a Danish team. North, we've kind of talked them there in a Dignitas forum. We thought was the early leaders on this map. I'd say Astralis, I think, have overtaken them in some ways. I think they're very clean in their executions.
Yeah, they're great on this map. They have a solid understanding of how it should be played. They've got an array of defaults and executions coming in. I really like the way they actually present this as a package. That's why I think OpTic right now, Hiko just coming in. Obviously, it's a bit of a wildcard factor. We don't know what's going to be coming to the table. And obviously, maybe seeing that auto shotgun. Would you think that's going to be making an appearance?
Hiko is known for it on the old Nuke, which... If anything, you would argue it's the exact same results. There's one vent to go down. You can't slip by and come back up into upper. You can hold the same choke points. I'm not sure. I think maybe once or twice we'll see it. I don't think he'll rely on it quite as much as he used to do.
It's just quite limited, I think. Like in some scenarios, it can work very well. It's just not reliable. Like if you can get the M4, he seems to sometimes opt for it over. Like it's great for farming cash and keeping money in reserve and being able to drop weapons.
I think they win the pistol round on CT side. I think he brings it out round 2 instead of an SMG. I think in situations like that, I think it's very likely we would see it.
Yeah, I did give a bit of a spoiler. It will be Astralis starting on the CT side. To be fair, we saw it at the Major. This map is starting to balance out now. It was famously a very CT-sided map, but at the Major it's almost 50-50 in terms of rounds won on either side. So it depends on the matchup, though. That's what I always like to say. Like it depends on what kind of methodology the terrorist team are bringing to the table, whether they have like those set pieces, which I think OpTic are going to have. They've always been a team that come in with that dossier kind of strap book, and that's sometimes their downfall. I think they focus too much on the executions and the set pieces and stuff. It's something I interviewed Tarek about a few months ago, actually, and he said, sometimes they need to kind of find the balance of when the executions are viable and when they should be running just the default good fundamental CS.
Fundamental CS is great to watch. Yesterday, I think we lacked a lot of that. So if we can get back to
a bit
clean
of
Counter-Strike, I think this could be
day.
This is perhaps the first game in, I won't say all the tournament, but definitely on paper that we know is usually a back and forth affair. I think OpTic had the toughest draw of anyone just based on how the Swiss system worked out against them at the Major. I think in any other situation, they would have been one of the 8 legendary teams. I think it's highly possible. We know it's very competitive right now in Counter-Strike at the top end. So, who do they replace in that? Is it Fnatic? Is it Gambit? Is it, who do they line up against if North hadn't come back from being 0-2? So there's still a team that can keep up with Astralis on the best of days, and I think that this should be more traditional to what we see. But like we say with Hiko with the shotgun, we'll still see some unorthodox plays.
Definitely. So, in terms of the prediction, do you actually feel like
I still think Astralis. Yeah, I think Astralis has to be the favorite in this. I was obviously having a little fun on the desk, but
you like to do
with
that.
The desk, I do. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I just live for my own entertainment, Henry.
Yes, I've
noticed. It keeps me with my 2 feet and a heartbeat and somewhat sanity.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we are ready to start our first cast of the day. 4 more to go, and it's going to be Astralis versus OpTic on Nuke. And this is probably my favorite map to cast, I would think, at the moment, just because it's always exciting to see what the kind of new developments are being brought to the table. Here we go then. OpTic, we'll have a look at their buy quickly. It's going to be a Tech 9. No Superman for Hiko, just got no body armor there. Stanley's got smoke and 2 flashbangs accompanying him, and that's going to be in the hands of Nafla. He's got the bomb as well, and Hiko looking to go out the squeaky door here.
KRB sitting above with Hiko, squeaky door as you mentioned with the Tech 9. It's Glaive that wants to push forward and try and get early information from ramp spots that they're inside of lobby. That's good enough. He's got Xyp9x behind him to support him off. He knows they're not going to be fully outside or committing to a fast push on that alone, so he doesn't need to overextend. In fact, hasn't even dealt any damage or received any. Just to really whiff shots to try and stir with the opponent, cause a little bit of chaos as Dupree falls back. Skylight's blown out. 2 flashes and a smoke for Naf. And he is out toward the lobby roof, so they could try and utilize that. Hiko would be the one that would likely go quickly upon throwing it, bringing Mixwell back as well from outer. I suspect this goes to an upper take, and a quick upper take at that.
Possibly towards ramp here. You can see they are lining.
As soon as I say it, of course.
Yeah. And Xyp9x, this is what I was talking about. That's unfortunate for him. He wants to take 1 shot there, take it, then drop down, but he gets taken down by Rush.
So they elect to do what you should do on rotations on this map. Rather than immediately panic, Glaive can't get out of heaven fast enough to get to Turnpike to slow them down from wrapping around, but they have to cover lower. So with 3 players showing at ramp, they know they're not going to be at upper immediately. Drop the player on the floor down. Now, the interesting thing is OpTic reads that rotation. By having him down inside of the vents, they're going back to upper, which is now much weaker. Glaive is alone to hold this at heaven. So it's definitely a smart read by OpTic, but a lovely shot from Glaive. Takes down Nafly, drops the bomb temporarily. Smokes off on main, won't allow a retake from outer, and Mixwell's lurked in well. He's found KRB and Dupree trying to rotate back around. Tarek follows up to get Glaive, and it's all on device, locked out at the doorway, dinked up already as well. And down he goes. Very good pistol round from OpTic.
Yeah, actually looking pretty solid there. That couldn't have gone better for them overall. They do a slow default to kick things off, go towards ramp, and they find that first pick. Like I was kind of describing in the pregame, Zipex known to be very good at staying alive in those positions. You don't really want to be challenging for too long. He took that first shot. Unfortunately for him, though, got his head blown off. And at that point, that was really nice from OpTic. They didn't rush. They didn't actually capitalize at that point. They fell back towards lobby. They forced the rotation down towards low, as you pointed out. And at that stage, they go towards upper, where it's going to be weaker. And it's Mixwell doing a great job there with the Glock. So, round number 2 comes in. There will be a full force buy from Astralis here, including Device with the body armor as well. And it's going to be Dupree to open things up with Glaive as well, but balances out as Nafla and Rush do some damage there.
Nice shot from Tarek. He's still in the hands of Naf. Down 2 already. Chance if they find another one quick enough for Astralis. I mean, they've already done economic damage, but could pick up the round. It's unlikely. They've got armor, so they have to consider that as well. They pick up a gun, keep the armor, boost the buy for round 3, which we know the CTs have to fully save on, and that's going to be the case because everyone's down and out.
Yeah, we normally talk about rushes and anti-ecos being a little bit dangerous, but on Nuke, I don't mind it so much. Very difficult to hold those off with the pistols. Astralis do a decent job. They get the first 2 kills there, but it's just going to snowball out of control at that point when OpTic get into some positional control there with the rifles. They're going to hit the shots, and they managed to get the 2-0. Like I said, that was a force fight from Astralis, including Device. He's the AWPer, of course. That's going to limit him going into that first gun round, and he purchases absolutely nothing going into this round, which makes sense. A couple of PT-50s available for Astralis, another upper rush by the look of things, and we go straight out there. Some damage being done, and a team kill comes in from Nafly towards Eco.
Now, in behind the vents, pops back out, spots Kirby on top of the hut. It's just a matter of going through the motions at this point. Zipex limited in a very tiny gopher hole and has to try and make his way out.
Yeah. 4-on-1. Just got that silencer speed. He gets 1 kill here. I'm sure I'll be very happy about that. Goes with the Hail Mary, jumps out, and Mixwell takes him down. Another upper rush coming in. Not really much to report, I'm afraid, because Astralis took a full eco. And we did mention Device's money was going to be low, so he actually cannot buy the AWP. That's a huge string to the Astralis bow on the CT side. He's very good at controlling the outside area, good at rotating and actually changing his position up almost every single round. They go with 5 rifles here, no kits, and they are limited as well. So this is a chance for OpTic. They could do another upper rush here. They know the money's going to be weak. They may not necessarily have incendiaries to slow them down. So let's see whether they try to do something a little faster here.
So great start from OpTic to pick up the 3 rounds terrorist side. Map was played out evenly at the major. We've seen terrorist games, terrorist-sided games. We've seen plenty of CT-sided as the map's developed.
Yeah, this is looking rough for Astralis. So lose this round, it's going to be a 5-0 down, and with no grenades left, really. I've got a couple of flashbangs. That's about it, man. And we got the 1:20 mark, and we said OpTic like those full executions. Hiko used to do a lot of them on Nuke as well with Liquid, so we know that's going to be coming in at some point. As they make their way towards ramp, it's going to be Zipex to hold them off.
Mix to lead the way, gets shut down by Zipex. Drops immediately, smart play on ramp. This time Glaive has a little bit more motion to try and hold off 4 rotations. Elects to stay upper instead. He'll rotate down the ramp, or rather, excuse me, the rafters as Kirby catches out Nafly. And it's Zipex that's gone well inside of the side. Closed off the doors at Toxic as well. No window, no way to peek this. He's got perfect position. Door's gonna open right now, and down goes 1. Planter found by Dupree. Zipex holds down the trigger and finds Hiko dropping in.
That's just textbook stuff there from Zipex. Like we said, they were a little bit limited in terms of utility. He stays a bit longer. He wants to get that first kill, gets something working in their favor. He finds a nice little angle there. Gets 1 kill, drops a flashbang, manages to get down towards Toxic. That was really nice. They didn't check it whatsoever. Like you said, no window there now. He just lies in wait and then pops out at the right time and mows them down there with a little bit of help from Dupree as well. So 3-1, Astralis pull 1 back. Still plenty of money available for OpTic. They bring out the AWP for Mixwell, of course, and we still do not have an AWP for Astralis, but they're just trying to balance things out now. They have the utility to work with, and they should be able to start sinking their teeth into the CT half.
Mixwell trying for cheeky.
I saw him doing this in warm-up. I saw him practicing this wall bang. I was interested to see whether it actually paid off.
Oh, that's so close.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Interesting.
Just sever his Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
Force him to walk around on one leg as it shoots up. You know, if you sever your Achilles tendon, your whole entire calf muscle shoots up like a blind.
Oh my god.
It's one of the most painful things
That's
in the
quite a
world.
haunting image.
Yeah, I half tore one in soccer once, and I was so scared. I didn't like walk for a week. I just was like, I'm gonna hobble around on crutches. I'm not taking that chance.
Well, then we'll have a look at the approach. Looks like it'll be quite a classic affair with the smokes, of course, designed to take the vision away from the CTs towards the secret area. It means you can commit 3 players towards the secret area, or you can just send 1 and then go towards ramp and split the map up the side. The idea is to pull rotations from the CTs, regardless of what your final intentions are. Looks like though they will be sending 4 players actually outside, and not going to be found out just yet. Not going to be walking as well, completely silent towards that area.
Glaive climbs ladder. It's Device that's got to get the information that they've gone towards Squeaky. 3 go by. Vision restored as smokes are gone, but Device yet to spot the remaining player outside at the red crate. That's Mixwell, who's backed off to hold position and allow his teammates, I should say, plural, the three of them down there, the freedom of movement without being flanked. Door open, it's Nafly in the ramp already. That tries to get spotted out by a player on ramp. That's Zippix, as always. Rotating down from ramp early, but Naf goes the other direction. They go in through Squeaky. He's going to pinch the upper sight. Follows in the footsteps, and a lovely shot by Tarek to take down Glaive because he was already lined up toward the man from Vents. Rush, 19, Device. Same HP, going to try and retake down a man already, are they? You talked about the 5-0, well, 3-run reset immediately. It's the same situation, and Nafly getting Zippix. Device is trying to just get away, and Mix has been standing outside holding that the entire round.
Yeah, he really has. That's obviously their intention to get towards Zappa, have Mix or stopping the rotations coming from main entrance as well. Holds it with the AWP, has to finish things off at the Glock, but a really nice round from OpTic, 4-1, and you can see this is actually going to be a really good game as we go into the next round. It's number 6, and there is going to be a force buy from the Danes here. UMPs, Max 7s, and only one M4 here. Still haven't seen the Device AWP. That's why I was interested to see why he force bought on the second round. A lot of AWPers will just go full eco at that point, allow his teammates to force around him, but means he gets the AWP. And there we go, then that wallbang comes in once again. He really wants that to work, but you can hear those shots coming in. You're going to be wary of that in future rounds. So let's see what happens. KRB does get hit. Surely not. Did it actually connect? He's going to defend his HP. He's in the bomb side.
I'm curious about that. He's down below now on floor.
So he might have just jumped down after it happened?
Yeah, I didn't catch whether or not he landed that or not. I'd love to see it. I'm sure someone will tell us.
Oh, no, it's blood on the wall. He did get it.
Yeah, he did. And he's climbed back up as well.
Oh, my God.
That's amazing. He has it perfectly lined up with the yellow crossbeam.
That's so cool.
Way to go, Mixwell. Proof that Spaniards are superior in every way.
Yep, I guess that's...
Fernando Alonso, obviously, being the alpha and all of that.
Well, then they've done some serious damage here. No kills obtained yet. They don't have this information that obviously Device and KRB are low, but that's certainly going to help.
Going to wrap around Glaive there. Good shot on the head. Comes from the UMP, and there's the shotgun from Dupree. So we're seeing it used on the CT side because economy limited, and he's got another one. Dupree, he's got 3! All the way through to Nafly inside of the site. Gives his team a chance. Mixwell with AWP, last alive, and Bomb is going to rotate lower and go for whatever safety he can find. Question is with the AWP, those new orange boxes in a wide plant, is that where he plays this from? No, to control room instead. And he's immediately walked into a death trap. Device was already there. He didn't expect the rotation to be so swift.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. He's looking at completely the wrong angle. Device is holding there with the AK-47. It blows his head off. A decent attempt from Mixwell. Like you said, I think that would have been quite a good call. Like the orange box, you've talked about it a lot. You don't really like it, do you?
I think it's an unnecessary addition. I mean, certainly I would love it if I'm a terrorist in a post-plant situation. I could happily say that, but I think it's a little bit too much.
I kind of like it. I think that just in terms of the CT player, it gives you a couple more options as to when it's normally a solo position when you're going down. At least you got somewhere with a bit more cover. You don't have to be behind the bomb site or trying to get towards decon. It means you can kind of have that more kind of lying in wait approach. Here we go then. The ult for Device finally comes in, and that's a big round. Dupree with that shotgun, picking up 3 frags.
Tarek limited to a Tech 9 already. Curious in itself, given that they've gone back and forth for a few rounds. He's been knocked down on the cash. 800 left over post-buy. But he wants utility instead. Could have potentially gone for something far different. And he'll wait out toward the roof as well. Nafly above is the one that continues to blow at the skylights every single round, so credit to him. Proof the Canadians are superior at Counter-Strike, as I said at the start of this segment, Henry. I think that was the direct quote.
Yes.
They are incredible at Counter-Strike.
Well, then we've got Device, like we said, moving around with his AWP. He'll be towards ramp room this time. Nice little adjustment there. And this is the full execution by the looks of things from OpTic. It's going to be Debris wide to receive. He gets a first kill.
And he's got another one as well. Dupree playing very well on the floor. Glaive shoots through the door. Dupree gets assists on both of those, so 2 and 2 for Dupree in the round.
Yeah, well, you normally want to be dropping the Molotovs on top of the hut. That stops that being a risk at that stage, and you can see that looks very comfortable. Dupree didn't even look flashed. It was sort of an execution from OpTic. They did throw the flashbangs in and some smokes as well, but you can see those flashbangs that are coming through the skylights just not doing anything to Dupree. Very easy for him, drops down. Really nice play overall. And we go into a fleek here for OpTic. It's going to be 4-3 in their favour still, but should be a 4-4 affair. They'll be going towards outside, and Device changing it up once again. He'll be towards outside. Looking for his first pick, and he spots one. Doesn't connect the shot, though.
I really thought they were going to go for a run boost there. The X-ray misled. He was actually on top of the red box. I thought they were on top of each other, and he would bait the shot, but Device doesn't need to be baited. He'll hit the shot regardless. Dupree getting Hiko, lining up at main entrance. He's been impressive so far. This CT side has turned much due to his performance, especially, nice shot, Mixwell. Especially with the shotgun when they were limited on cash to pick up their second round. Glaive closes out Mixwell, who, as I mentioned, had a lovely deagle shot similar to that of his cash deagle shot. Remember that one with the fadeaway jumper?
That was quite lovely. I do remember it well.
I think you still dream about it. Things like that occupy your mind.
Yeah, among other things. But Dupree, he's doing a stellar job right now on that upper bomb site. Another 3-man spray down for him. As we enter round number 9, it's going to be another buy available for OpTic. No mix or AWP this time, but it's not really necessarily a big deal. On Nuke, it's not a requirement to have the AWP, of course. You can have the 5 rifles, be very comfortable indeed. Gives you a bit more mobility. Obviously, very tight, close quarter action on Nuke, especially towards the lower bomb site. So Device, where is he going to be this time? We'll have a look and check in. He's actually on towards the catwalk outside, so he's doing a great job of being dynamic and just having that surprise factor almost every single time. And he just, maybe have a little bird's eye view of this smoke execution towards outside.
Oh, timing is everything. They go back to peek it. Tarek thinks he can shuffle out against an AWP. Gravely mistaken, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and Device has done his job at this point. He gets that first AWP kill and he falls back. He could challenge again, but they've got the advantage, and now whatever execution OpTic had in mind, that's been stifled. It's going to be slowed down. So round number 9 and 5-on-4 situation. What's the play here? OpTic still with a little bit of utility, but lacking smokes. Going to be getting control of Secret, but how's they going to get this next frag and actually
curious with control of Secret, curious to how Hiko approaches the round at this point, because he's slowly playing around in the radio room. If he goes toward ramp, Device is still waiting on an AWP. If he can bypass Device, that's when the take becomes a real threat. Dupree's down below in the decontamination stairs. Zipix, he's already gone into position as well. That gets a turnpike. That'll help out support Device's position, but a lovely shot already coming in from Mixwell. Starts to send shivers down the spines of Astralis and gets them a little bit antsy. They have to move down below. So it's really a game of wits at this point in time. Glaive's going to bring back up and give a support nade. Molotov at Squeaky, but he gets Molotov'd off the second he goes the other direction. This becomes a bit of an issue. He's locked out of the round. Device hits Rush as they manage to get through lower and gets caught out because they can't transition in time. They have to be more sure of their rotations. Time is a factor, though. 5 seconds, Kierby. 1 versus 1. Nafly, I think, just got there in time, and he's going to get the plant in. But the 1 versus 1 will commence. Bypass due to the flash. Problem is, does Nafly hear this? Does he read it? Does he spot Kierby in time? I think he's read that he's gone to the left, so he'll play a tighter angle. Doesn't matter where he's gone on the stairwell now. As soon as he enters the site, there's a line for Nafly to look through, and he spots him jumping in the air. Surely has to hit that shot. Very low on HP, gets tagged once more as well.
Yeah, Kierby getting unlucky there. He knows he's in towards that corner, but as soon as he jumps up and actually commits to falling down towards the bomb site, it actually gives the opportunity to spray him down, and all you have to do is really land a couple of bullets there, and that would have been it. But here's the replay from Device. Did a good job at the start, but OpTic recovering quite nicely. Hiko was actually instrumental there. Device gets that kill towards Ramprom. He assumes he's going to be covered at that point. He's already eradicated the danger, and Hiko comes in, takes him down. 15 seconds. The bomb goes down with about a second to spare, and it goes in favor of OpTic. So, going to round number 10 here. And they're going to be limited, though. That 1v1 does cost OpTic. You can see they've got a couple of galils here, opting for the smoke grenades instead of the heavier firepower. And for now, a slow-paced round, and we do have a Device AWP still. He's going to be backed out towards outside as well. Yeah, you're right.
Glaive. Oh, he's got to have seen him, surely. Tagged to 11, he's got to back away. It would have been a massive early pick for him to find. Our 10th round, 5 already for OpTic. Been a great pick, especially if Device could have, or excuse me, rather Glaive could have faded away on that. Fallen back without taking damage and getting a kill. But now it's up to Device to hold it off. Molotov goes wide of the smoke's gone for the full wall, no gap. Device needs to transfer, and I think at this point climb to heaven or just sit CT. He's gonna try and sit with the rail. As a response to this, Dupree gets a lot closer onto the main entry. They're going to hear him jumping around inside of that. Device is trying to catch them on the wrap. Could just barely see them, but he gets 2 for 1. They line it up. They think they're in safety, and his angle, it works out perfectly. That allows Dupree to stay alive, get the information they're there. Does overstep the mark slightly and fall to Tarek. But it's a 4 versus 2. Glaive, still tagged dearly from the start of this round, just has to play passive and hold off inside of the ramps. As he's done so many times, it's all about information and support for Kierby, who's on top of the hut. Hiko, meanwhile, is down below Kierby, trying to get through the hut. He's caught out by Astralis. Zipix with that kill, and he follows it up.
Well, Device there with a lovely collateral kill. I have to say, OpTic have an interesting approach. They drop all those outside smokes, then walk in front of them. Obviously, they're hoping that the smokes will bait Device maybe to rotate down towards lower. You can see him walk into his crosshair at this point. I don't think he can believe his luck. He's like, okay.
He almost got caught moving as well.
Yeah. A very interesting round indeed. It's going to be 5-5 Astralis tying things up, and there is going to be some investment here. Actually, a pretty much full force buy. There's going to be one player left of about $1,000. That's Tarek. They've got Tech 9s, some body armor, a few smokes as well, so maybe more the same. Smoke towards outside, could fake that and actually end up towards upper. We'll see what they decide to do.
So Naf doing everything he always does, takes out vents again to try and mask any future plays. Quick flash down. Smoke set, I think that one is the one for Heaven, if I'm not mistaken, which we just saw Tarek lining up for. Keep an eye on whether or not that was thrown. We snapped away too soon. There's none up there at this point in time, so unlikely. They do have Squeaky smoked off, but this round, you've got to say, is Astralis' chance to really take the stranglehold on the game. They've got to get away with this while they can and convert it to get a lead on the CT side.
This will finish up towards upper. They can see they're setting up smokes now. One for main entrance. Got a couple of flashbangs. Molotovs to the hut roof this time, I would say. That's a Dupree. Was causing a lot of damage before. Got to have that Molotov down if they're going to have a chance.
Molotov actually doesn't go to hut. It goes to rafters. The second one goes towards Squeaky on the inside defensively. Smoke's on main, but it's actually going to be a ruse. They want to go over toward ramp and drop down and get to the lower site. Xipix has read it well. He's already transferred down below, and he's going to play B sign by the blue box or the orange boxes. Cover left side entrance. But then after throwing the execution, causing the rotations, OpTic's actually getting away with these fakes, which seem almost hesitant, but they've got a strategy with them. The problem is there's two players on upper in great positions. One of them's Kirby, though, and he's tagged. 16, that forces him off a Squeaky, forces Dupree to rotate back up. It's all about Glaive's positioning right now on rafters. If they get by Dupree, Glaive's got to step up, but the first task is getting by Dupree. He gets 2 before Hiko responds. Device, Kirby, close out the rest.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that call from OpTic. When you're so limited like that and you've got Tech 9s and a very small amount of utility, you might as well use it to your favor. So they go for the full fake at that point. They've used all the Molotovs, the smokes, the flashbangs towards upper. They're trying to bait out whatever the CTs have, of course, but then they go back towards ramp. They don't find a kill, end up back towards upper after all the utility has been extinguished, and then you're just thinking, okay, now how do we even get any kills at this point? They've actually recalibrated and managing to spray us down as we walk into the bomb site here. So this will be an OpTic full eco at this point. They've got a PT-50, one flashbang, maybe get the bomb down vents. We'll see what they decide to do.
Mixwell back toward ramp, or rather, excuse me, lobby with the rest of his team. Dupree playing main entrance as always, has the crossfire set with Kierby, who's just been on the floor pretty much everywhere, aside from the one round he got tagged through the wall.
So they've got this flashbang towards ramp. Chuck it in, they know Xipix normally here by himself. He doesn't have to overcommit here, but he knows they're going to be eco. He'll go for one frag and probably try and stay alive at this point.
Glaive's a bit late to rotate onto Turnpike, but he's there. Importantly, he's there, so they're limited to the ramp room itself. Glaive just needs to hold that door. Xipix has already rotated down, that's fine. You can have the ramp room. We'll just respond accordingly with rotations. And again, OpTic is hesitant. They go back out to lobby. So they push them back. Okay, yes, they're causing movement from the CTs, but movement that's easy to take back. As soon as they rotate out of radio, Xipix just climbs back up the ramp. Device actually, okay, take it back. In this case, is the one to do it. Guess what? Now they've got radio covered off. Device hits Mixwell on Turnpike. Everything's back to normal, and they get nothing out of that first exchange.
Yeah, indeed. That's the first frag going against them as well. Nafly, low HP. Can't really do much yet. Just hope you can find a kill, but Kiabi just mowing them down. Not really breaking a sweat there, and he actually finished up with 4 kills. And pretty successful round overall. OpTic are really relying on these fakes right now, it seems. And
almost too much.
Yeah. And
at first, I thought it was very clever. The pistol one seemed clever, and then now they seem like they're overdoing it.
Yeah, that's always been a problem. They think a little bit too much about the tactic thing. When you have one flashbang, and you've got Glocks and PT-50s, maybe just flash upper and just commit to it. Instead of faking, like, even if the fake's successful, yes, you have ramp room, but what are you doing at that point? Anyway, another gun round comes in. It's 7-5. Astralis finding their stride at this point. Not going to be bringing out the AWP once again as of yet. It's going to be Device on the M4A4. And in terms of the buy for OpTic, no AWP on their side either. But they have got 5 smokes, a couple of Molotovs. And we'll see whether they can get back into this. They had a really good start. They're up 4-1 at one stage, but it's been an Astralis affair since about round number 6.
So hold steady, hold true to position. On OpTic, I have to say, winning the pistol, I think, is making this game look much closer than it is.
Just to note as well, Xipix got boosted up in the ramp room. That's a really nice adjustment for him. He's shown his hand how he's playing defensively, going for one frag. Now he's boosted up, a heavy commitment. It's going to probably pay off for him if they do go towards ramp.
Well, that's the question. Do they go that direction? Right now, it's back to the same. With the skylights blown out, smokes go down. That's thrown from the, I'm not sure we saw that one on stream, that one that just landed, thrown from the left of the roof, lands inside of main entrance. It's actually a very powerful smoke, especially with Dupree been playing in that position, but guess what? He's moved as well. One already. Kirby follows up. Glaive rotates in, pushed through the smoke that they lay, and it's all on to Mixwell, 1 versus 3. I won't rule him out of it quite because Kirby and Glaive are both tagged up. It's up to Xipix to try and make sure he gets himself in the right position to support his teammates, and he's already gone towards Squeaky.
Yeah, they adjust the set piece a little bit this time, but unfortunately for Mixwell, this is almost unwinnable. He's got 20 seconds remaining, the bomb down towards upper. We'll see whether he can do anything with this. He's actually got himself in an interesting position towards rampant, but time running out. We'll slowly get towards heaven, but let's see if it actually pays off. I think he's maybe just been called to save the weapon.
Yeah, 11 seconds, that's done. Keep the AK, because money is still grim. In fact, they're all bought fully into this round.
Matt, in terms of what we've seen from OpTic so far.
Henry.
Yes, that sounded very formal, didn't it?
It did.
The pistol started off great. They were coming out, firing all cylinders. And now, since the gun rounds have started, once again, this criticism I've always given towards OpTic, they're really focusing on these executions all the time. Instead of doing the defaults, getting towards secret, then going as a unit and kind of getting some map control, establishing themselves on the map. They're just holding up, doing nothing for 40 seconds, and then executing, not really getting much for it.
This reminds me of that really annoying kid in matchmaking who thinks he's good at the game because he knows one thing to do at the start of the round. He's got this one smoke, but as soon as he throws the smoke as a default, he has no idea what to do afterwards. He has no idea how to implement that smoke, and it seems like OpTic, they have a general idea of how to start the round, they just can't finish it. They don't do anything with the smokes. Even the smoke on main that time. You smoke off main, I haven't seen one smoke additionally to get down vents, to try and cause rotations. They just walk in every time to crossfires.
Well, they have got the Mixwell AK this time, but he's been tagged down to 40 HP, trying to get that first kill. But Zipex, like I said, very, very good in his round position. He finds a couple of kills here. Glaive goes down, though. Maybe a slight overcommitment considering his position there, but I think the damage has been done. With his man advantage, they know it's a very weak buy from the Terrors at this point. Just fall down, make them actually commit before you take another frag out.
Nafly does get on a ramp this time, but again, Zipex has gone passive. Same position in Toxic that he played in the first gun. Device as well as rotated, so this gives him great position in 3, 2, 1. Spot it, Device, slow reactions. Does get the headshot on a Naf, but surely he has to be traded on that. He was low HP, doesn't get the kill, and Zipex will close the round.
Yeah, once again, they get their map ramp control. They seem a little bit lost when they get something on the map, and unfortunately for them, they'd already lost that man advantage. Limited, of course, with the grenades. They only had one AK and some Tech 9, so it's going to be round number 15 here. It's been quite a quick half, I have to say, since the gun rounds really began. It's just trying these executions, rushing towards upper most of the time. I'd really like to see the outside smokes they've got. Maybe you've got to try the fakes. That's the way you do it. You do the outside smokes, and then you're going towards upper at that point, trying something a little bit different. But we'll see what happens in round number 15. It's going to be a difficult round for them. I haven't really seen too much from OpTic so far. It's impressed me, but it's going to be 4 AKs, 1 Galil for Mixwell. And they have got the smokes and Molotovs to work with once again, but we'll see what kind of options they go for out.
So Hiko toward lobby will hold off for any pushes, as again they set the smokes. I still want to see more teams throw the heaven smoke. I pointed out the one that goes toward main entrance from the left side of the roof. There's one that's basically the same from the right side that lands in heaven. You can throw a Molotov as well that lands there. Device going to push the side of the smoke, spots the foot. Whether it was the foot or perhaps a red dot radar based on crosshair placement, I'd love to see it with X-ray off. It could be misleading for us, but he does get a kill, more importantly, and does massive damage to Tarek and Nafly.
That's right. So he's got a lot of information there, slowed them down, and still a 4-on-4, which traditionally favors the Terrors. I'd say not so much on Nuke. It's not really a rotation sort of map, but Zipex, he's boosted up in that ramp room once again. And we said very strong position. He's going to be pushing towards lobby, though, trying to get some intel for his team. That's the final commitment here from OpTic. Mixwell showing his hand towards heaven. Maybe a little bit of a distraction here. Needs to find this kill, which he does take down.
That allows them to wrap outer for the first time the entire map. But Zipex is going to try and get clever to make sure that they don't get much with it. He's rotated back out to hold off heaven. They can't get toward the ladder. They could go, obviously, the new route. But Zipex going down opens up all possibilities. It's Dupree that has to line them up. Gets bomb in the corner. Good response from Nafly. But Kierby's still on the floor. His time to shine. He knows they're both out toward main entrance, but down the ramp, or rather, excuse me, the vent they will go.
Yeah, good call at this point. They know exactly where he is. 10 seconds remaining. They can safely plant, and it's going to be a really difficult round now for Kierby to get into this. He has got a couple of flashbangs here. 2 players to find, one of which is low HP, but this would be a blunder for OpTic to give him a chance here. They're playing together, which is the correct way to do it. Just face the bomb together, but it's a tight choke point. He could get the double spray down now.
Smoke off on the bomb. He's got 2 flashes. Better if he had a smoke, obviously, to try and make a play. Drops down, they'll hear that. Has to get aggressive immediately after. Positional and surprise is gone. He's going to try and walk around, and Hiko, he's not in the corner that Kierby expected. It'll go 9-6. OpTic with 3 rounds after pistol and then only 3 guns.
Yeah, they started off very well. 4-1 at the opening sector of Nuke here, but the half finishes 9-6. Mixwell doing a very good job there towards that last round, and here's the replay. Matt, you wanted to see it. Can you see his foot?
3-2. Whoa, I'm not sure. I can't, but depends on his graphic settings, I suppose.
Obviously, GoTV, they're using high graphics and everything. It's going to look a little bit different. But,
and the crosshair placement wasn't dead on, so I'm not sure it would have been the radar.
Yeah, so if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about there, and CSGO, if you hold the crosshair on towards the smoke and someone is within that, sometimes you can see the players pop up on the radar on your top left. But there it is, 9-6. Still a decent half overall for OpTic, all things considered. But like I said, they did focus a little bit too much on strategy for me instead of actually just getting that map control. I think they only really went towards lower through Secret once. And they did actually get a headshot. They took down Dupree initially. It was just finishing off the round was a bit of a problem. But there it is, Astralis. 15 frags to Dupree. I think he had a very solid half, some very big rounds for that upper bomb site. Seemed like it was a little bit too easy at one point for him. Didn't really get flashed or challenged when he's on top of the hut.
Astralis, with that stat on the screen, obviously means they won their first map with losing both pistols, something that you definitely can't have as a statistic for an entire tournament. They'll have to win a pistol eventually. Maybe it'll be this one. T-side Nuke, probably the one pistol I would want.
Well, it's Glaive, surrounded by 4 sets of armor. He's got a smoke and 2 flashbangs here. He's actually towards outside by himself. His teammate's not giving anything away just yet, but Device is making his way towards ramp room. We'll see whether the CDs can hold them off here. It's going to be Nath towards that position. The bomb's still down towards T-spawn, so I don't think a commitment will be coming in just yet. Nathfly challenging with that USP takes a bit of a peppering there from the Glock, but they're not going to commit just yet. They're just trying to push him down towards lower and take some of his vision away in that area.
Nath will slip in behind the spot formerly known as Headshot. Doesn't seem to get talked about as much. No one seems to play there quite as frequently on this version of Nuke. Glaive gets toward red box and will spot towards secret stairs. Tarek is down below and getting ever closer to peeking. He'd favor the USP here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a guarantee. He's missed quite a few shots. Finally does land ahead of Glaive.
They just need to commit
smoke covered off, though. They can drop down off of Silo, but Tarek spotted that player during the exchange before the smoke bloom. Relays the information. Mixwell surely has to land this. He's running low on ammunition, and they're getting ever closer. Reload comes in, no time for it. Device, Dupree, kills on the way through. Dupree follows that up as well. Without Device beside him any further, it's down now to just Dupree. That's where both players are. Already, it's a lovely shot on Nathfly. 30 seconds left in the round. Doesn't have to commit to the plant. He's got the space to do it. Ray peeks out toward main and realizes that's the case, so down the bomb will go immediately, and Tarek forced to commit. No kit, at least not on his belt immediately. There's one inside of the site, 3 HP for Dupree. He's got to get very clever and smart about his peaks. He wants to get the elevation. Jump's going to give it away easy for Tarek at that point.
Made the step there. Wanted to jump up on the third box, but makes a bit of a blunder with the footstep. And Tarek, although he misses quite a few shots in that round, he does pick up 3 kills and wins the 1-on-1 as well. So big round for him overall. Defuses the bomb with ease at that stage, and a difficult one to clutch out there. And I thought Nathfly made a huge mistake there towards upper. When he actually was towards heaven, they've got a 2 versus 1 situation. And the fact you're not waiting for him to commit to a plant or anything like that, he goes to the phase, makes it a 1v1. Luckily, all is forgiven when they win the round, but it's going to be up to picking it up. Bomb planted, of course, so you'd assume... Oh, I was about to say AK's coming out in the third. Dupree's getting with the Deagle and head armor. Doesn't look like his teammates are following suit, but obviously got a few more kills than his teammates in that previous round, so that's all he's going to be bringing to the table here, and I'll assume that AKs will come out next round. There's the auto shotgun, that it is out. You called it. Second round, win the pistol.
Yep,
it is.
That's the perfect time. So 0-4 now Astralis in this tournament with pistol rounds. Tarek, M4 will play a long angle at outer. Just spots one on top of Silo, Twinkie, whatever you call it, wherever you live. Won't be able to get the angle onto Dupree. I want to see Hiko get a massive spray down Dupree with a Deagle. How is it that every time he hits those shots?
Yeah, one of the best players in CSGO with the Desert Eagle for sure. Opens things up. That's Tarek going down. He's the outside player, so there are some options available. 1 flashbang, though, so we'll see if they go back towards lobby, perhaps, or want to try and get down towards secret. But Hiko, he's patrolling that upper bomb site with the auto shotgun, looking towards main for now.
This is where you almost want to see Mixwell get more aggressive toward main and cover Hiko on top of hut. But in giving up outer, they're going to transfer that shotgun into a better position closer to the top of the ladder. They've rotated Rush. He's ready for the wraparound on Catwalk. Naf's down below, and Rush will pick up Dupree with the FAMAS. Forcing, therefore, a drop down from Kierby, who manages to take down Nathfly on his arrival. But he's now the only one left alive as Mixwell's cleaned up, does get aggressive toward main, forces the issue, figures out where they've gone, and Kierby has the chance to surprise him, but he's gone just around the corner before he can, and Bomb is down inside of the site. That's round over. Rush finds it. We go 1 round the difference, and there was a bomb plant in the first, so gun round immediately.
Indeed, and Dupree found a kill as well, so he managed to get an AK and head armor as well, even after buying the Deagle in the previous round. So 5 AKs come in, distinct lack of utility. You can see they've got a couple of smokes and flashbangs here, and OpTic are going to be aware this will be the buy coming in. They've got themselves 1 in 4, make it 2, and a couple of UMPs, and of course that aforementioned auto shotgun as well. Hiko is very good at it. He's a specialist for sure. We'll see whether he can do any damage here this round.
It's going to need to be a specialist. 4 kills for him so far in the match. 4 and 14. Rush starts off with Dupree going down. Mix gonna hold off the orb. He goes in, lands at Zipix's feet. That puts him on 52. Tries to follow it with a Molotov, but Zipix backs away. So damage and lack of ground against Astralis. Meanwhile, Device, though, wants to get into Secret. I'm not sure Tarek would have spotted that. I don't think he was peeking when Device went by, but he has to consider it a possibility without any read, without any information. Assume the worst. Tarek does do great damage onto Kierby. Tags him to 10. Glaive's hoping someone gets careless and walks out toward him at main entrance because he's just holding the door, but instead Mixwell's backed away. Oh, that's a great shot. Shotgun not yet in play. Device finds Tarek. This turns 2 very good kills. Tarek had to respond to the fact that Glaive made an entry kill toward the upper site. This changes the entire complexion of the CT defensive lineup. Nafly has to leave the ramp room. He goes to heaven with a UMP. And Hiko, he's still on the upper site with Rush and hoping for a crossfire that's favorable, but right now Astralis, they're not committing to it. They've got options, and they're getting ever closer onto the Secret position as well.
Yeah, it looks like they'll be finishing up towards lower. They have got a smoke. Normally most teams will open up the orange door on the right-hand side, smoke onto the bomb site, and see if he can get the bomb down there.
The interesting thing about this is Device is still outside because he wants to wrap around. This means he's got to join Zipix, get down vent, and pinch together on B site, which has been rotated and fortified by the CT, so it's still not an advantage, if you will, for the T's getting into the B site because they're all there and the 2 players from ramp are not. They've just arrived now, and now it's a 3 versus 3 because Rush is taking down Kierby with nade. Bomb planted left side silo from ramp approach. Can be covered off in the post plant by Zipix, by Device, and Glaive, who's inside a control room, finds 2. Naf and Rush go down. That's pretty much round over. Hiko's got a shotgun. He has a kit, but a shotgun in this situation, too far.
Yeah, he pulled out the PT-1000 at one point there. This one's a little bit more favorable for him, even though he gets the headshot. Glaive takes him down. That's why I'm not a fan of the weapon overall. Glaive actually getting 4 kills in round, just to note. He actually had a fantastic shot in that main entrance position.
It's amazing if he's on hut and they run right into him.
Look at this.
It's like an op on a retake. Once it's into that situation, it's just nothing. It's not possible.
That was so sick from Glaive. I don't think you called that. It was like a pixel you could see at the head of the hut. It was really, really nice. Okay.
He's definitely got skill as well as the in-game leading approach that Astralis needed, but it's going to be back to pistols immediately for OpTic. 5 AK-47s out on the terrorist side. Device going aggressive towards outer. Quick peek over the box. Has already flashed off and knows that no one's gotten aggressive against him, so he'll hold position. And the rest will set for what appears to be a slow pick strategy, knowing the economic situation.
Yes, indeed. Well, they're going to be fully aware it's going to be pistols this round. OpTic with a Deagle, a 5.7. Nafly's got some body armor. Mixwell gone for head armor. He's predicting maybe a couple of SMGs come in to the fray, but 10-8. Astralis pick up a big round there. And Device with some decent outside control. He'll be towards the garage already at this point. So the CT's trying to push in, see if they can do anything towards ramp up. It's going to be Nafly walking into the lion's den here, and his teammate will drop with him. Glaive with another double kill there, and that should be round over.
Kirby holding. Well, catches out Hiko, walking through. Dupree opens and shuts the door. Mixwell is behind it. I think Dupree closed it. I don't think that was Mixwell, so I'm not 100% sure they'll know he's there. Flash goes out. Perhaps they do. And up from rafters, Device just slips in. Not even the angle he was expecting. It's all onto Rush.
Well then, after winning the pistol, third round goes against him, and now OpTic in a difficult financial position. They only get 1,900 into the next round. Nafly with only $100 currently, so he actually forced into that one. We'll see whether they decide to force into the next one. You can see Mixwell with a decent amount of cash. He could bring out the AWP if he so wishes, but in terms of Nafly, he'll be on towards a pistol. So just Rush now trying to see if he can do anything with this silent USP, pushing towards the ramp room. And yes, the round's certainly over. Not really much he can do in this situation. Could be spotted as well as Zipix to finish things off. 11-8, Astralis increase their lead here as we go to the next round. This is when it's going to be interesting. You see Nafly, $2,000. So AWP does come in from Mixwell. I think that's the right call to make with your player very limited, like Nafly's going to be. Want to get that AWP out.
Rush is going to be UMP at best, not from awesome. Okay, all right. Goes for the older tactic.
Yeah, you don't see the FAMAS as much these days, do you?
It's usually UMP in this situation, but he goes for the FAMAS. And NAF, as you mentioned, with $2,000 has to be limited to a 5-7 rush. Flash over, wants to get aggressive. Counter flash, but both being blinded in turn. He continues with his back turn to rush around the corner, and it works. He catches out Device. Mixwell had one before that. Op from out at the long corner, catches off one on Silo. They don't account for is Kierby, who's managed to slip in and evade them. He's gotten aggressive. He has to know. The shot from Mixwell came from there to kill his teammate on top of Silo. Surely he has to at least look to that corner, but he gets taken down. And it brings back the advantage in the way of OpTic by 1. As Glaive gets to lower with bomb, it's going to be a fast plant. Dupree is not yet in position. He's still holding at radio. He wants to try and hope that he hears rotations going to ramp and catches them off. In fact, he has to get aggressive now. Lower on the HP, still manages the shot. Now he has a position to get in post plant. Bomb's not planted for ramp, but he can at least peek for information and help Glaive from decontamination. Door open. So no element of surprise, and Glaive's actually going to push all the way through. He knows they're coming from ramp, or rather, excuse me, from vent. He spotted it perfectly and walks in and catches them off.
Glaive's having a fantastic game here in the second half. Really well done. That was actually almost a 5-on-3 at one stage, and then a couple of kills come in Astralis' favor, and Glaive makes an amazing decision there. Just get down the lower as quickly as he possibly can, get that bomb plant, and as soon as he does it, you can see OpTic crumble at that point. Glaive actually, that's a small nuance there as well. He throws a Molotov in towards the vent. It means they can't actually afford to sit there in that position. Have to go down very quickly, take some damage to going into that area as well. I thought OpTic would be taking a timeout at this point. I don't think we've seen one this game as of yet. So difficult times for them, and losing some big advantages. We're going to run up 21. It's going to be PG-50s, a Desert Eagle, and no grenades to work with here. So fast towards outside. That's going to be Astralis, and Device leading the charge of the UMP. He's already got down towards Secret, and Dupree continuing his good form as he finds Mixwell. Double kill.
Bomb dropped. Intentionally to begin with, has now gone towards Secret.
Look at Device, he's in the vents. They have no idea he's going to be coming in for this position.
He's just waiting for them to want to rotate.
Does he spot one?
Not quite sure he would have spotted the feet on top of the hut. But he can still hold the angle. Neither vent is blown out, so he's got element of surprise no matter which way they go. Dupree, meanwhile, is going to hold off the hut for rotations. Tarek gets Kierby. That opens up a gun for them to grab. At this point, they're going to be going into a 4th round loss bonus. A gun carried over at $2,400 in the bank, and now build that a little bit further, $2,750 for Tarek. It's worth it. I'd say see if he can get to those guns. They want it, but Dupree's going to try and hold them off, and as that happens, here comes Device from behind. 1 and done. Second kill goes his way, both on the SMG, so his money gets built up massively. They're over 5 digits on both Dupree and Glaive. Device not far behind.
Yeah, lots of money here available for Astralis, and this is looking rough for OpTic. The T side was pretty as far as, but we'll see whether they can bounce back here. Certainly not over yet. 13-8. Tarek on the AWP this time. An interesting decision. Mixwell maybe not feeling it today. Although he has got 16 kills. It's going to be Tarek. We'll see where he decides to go. Maybe something a little bit special going to be deployed as we go into round number 22 here. Device on the AWP himself, and he'll be going towards outside, and that's what the AWP is waiting for him. So boosted up to red, and it's going to be 2 CTs. Actually make it 3 towards outside, but he can't find that first shot.
Shot successful from Rush in turn against Device. This is their lead they needed,
wow.
But again, it gets turned around. Kierby, as soon as they exchange at corner, every single time, Kierby's able to slip up from the silo onto the new cat and take them down. 2 kills in return, massive deficit. Hiko, M4 this time. He's not going to go back to the shotgun. And he's going to try and hold from floor inside of the smoke. Knows they're wrapping in from Squeaky. Does well to find the kill, but spraying through, hoping that Glaive's going to walk out in front of him. It doesn't work. Fly's got to stab them from behind. It's going to be shut down immediately. Kierby the one to do so. 3 kills for him in the round, and a 4th potentially on a platter if Tarek misses even 1 shot. Surely he'll go down, and that's exactly what happens. 14 rounds for Astralis.
And it's a timeout as well. Everyone on Astralis right now is just firing on all cylinders. They're taking turns to have massive rounds. Glaive's had some absolute blinders. Dupree as well. Kierby with a 4K there. After he loses the first frag, his star player Device goes down, he strikes, finds 4 kills in total, and this put OpTic in a really difficult position here. Yes, they have maximum loss bonus, 5 rounds lost in a row after picking up the pistol. Here's a nice little replay of Kierby, and you have got a timeout for the first time from OpTic. You only get 1 timeout, and I think it's for a period of 2 minutes in total. And they have $3,400 pretty much across the board here for the CT side, looking down the barrel of match points as well. So what's their play here, Matt? Do you go for the force buy and try and elude that and take the risk, try and win with shotguns, UMPs, pistols, or do you take the eco here, allow them to get to match point and have to get 7 rounds in a row? So pick your poison moment.
I mean, they've won 3 gun rounds the entire game.
It's true.
So What is the poison? Force it, hope for the best at this point. I mean, guns aren't working out, so you save for them. I don't know. This is a tough call. 14-8 CT side Nuke. Money's overwhelming on the Astralis side. Even if you win with a forced buy and lose players, you're still going to be limited in the round afterward.
Indeed.
But you kind of don't want to let this get to 15, especially on a CT side. If you can get momentum, we know it can happen.
There's Zonic there, looking very calm. This is going swimmingly for Astralis after losing both pistols as well. In a fantastic position there. They've broken the money, and I'm getting a little bit of intel here. Tarek, he's bought a scout, so maybe they are going to go for this one. He's still got around 2k in the bank, so maybe a partial buy this round. That makes sense. Like we said, maximum loss bonus to still get a 3,400 on top. So as long as you keep your money around the 1,800 to about 2k mark, you can buy into the next round. Hiko picks up a shotgun, not the auto shotgun, he goes for the max 7 this time. And certainly backs to the wall right now for OpTic. So a partial investment, a couple of deagles popping in there as well. But Astralis, they'll be aware of the situation. They know they've got $3,400, pretty much that's it. And they're slowing things down. Maybe just go for the upper rush here. That's what you said. Like, when you know you're up against pistols, traditionally it's not a good idea to go for the straight up rushes. You don't know where the stacks normally lie. But these sort of scenarios, especially with the CTs can't hold like old Nuke above the squeaky door in that catwalk area, it's actually very viable just to rush out squeaky and actually challenge the pistols head on.
There's where we are, the MGM Grand.
Lovely place.
I think my room is just to the right. Yeah, I knew you would like Vegas.
I know. All my vices in one place.
Sin. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
We'll just leave you here, Henry. Leave that baggage behind. What happens in Vegas? You can just stay here with all of it. Tarek looking for an opportunity with that scout, as you say, forcing into this. They've already lost rush. They lose Mixwell, peeking aggressively toward Squeaky. Device gone low. He's trying to bait out shots. That works because guess who's there to pick up the damage? And those who try and peek back and return it to Dupree. And it's all down to Tarek. Shooting gallery. Whew. Yeah. Get a double headshot there? Not quite.
Dupree, he must be almost at the 30 bomb now. He's got 26 kills. Fantastic.
I'm not impressed.
No? You want 30?
It's got to be 30.
Well, he's going to have to find 4 kills this round if it's going to happen. But there it is. Match points obtained by Astralis. Now takes 7 rounds in a row for OpTic. So the opposite for this more conservative option. And now they do get a full buy here. 4 and 4s and the AWP for Mixwell. That's had a reasonable showing. And it's Device on the AWP though. And he seems to be hitting all the shots. To be fair, everyone on Astralis seems to be having a great half here. Xyp9x being the only players being quiet. But to be fair, there's not many kills left when everyone's just mopping up as they are right now.
Dupree already inside of the fence with smokes down is going to say, I've already gone down. Smoke's here. Get back up to the site and try and catch them off as Hiko sits on the floor. Potentially done now for Astralis. All they need is one more round. And gun rounds have not been favorable to OpTic. Bomb dropped below the silo. They'll go back to grab it. Hiko still just sitting on his lonesome by that floor. They've got the shot on Dupree to start it off, which is forcing Astralis to slow down in that sense. Double stack as well for Mixwell and rush over toward ramp. Tarek playing very passively at outer.
Well, they've got that man advantage now. Hiko picks it up. No shotguns this time. He's got the M4A4 in hand, playing towards upper. And looks like maybe towards ramp we will go. Xyp9x will be trying to work the pick here. This is his stomping ground, but Mixwell waiting with AWP. Doesn't hit the first shot though, and actually gets taken down on overcommitment perhaps.
Shot in from rush. That'll slow down the take on ramp. He's got to back away though, can't commit to it. And unfortunately hasn't dropped down, but they do bring the vent player lower. That's going to be Nafly that holds on. He's trying to hear the door cues. He's gone into the site early. Kirby gets him. That forces retake now from the CTs. Bomb is going to be planted. 27 seconds and Device aggressive toward the vents. Doesn't account for 2 to be there at the same time. Only manages 1 and Tarek catching off Glaive. Bomb is planted, but it's Kirby alone, 16 HP. It's low enough for Tarek and Rush with an AK. He can make this work. Flash won't fully blind him. It's to his right, too far to his right. And he knows they're above him. He knows they're right above him, but Rush reads it well, drops in, and we've got at least 1 more round.
We do indeed. Astralis managing to seemingly get back into every single scenario. They lose the first pick, and they manage to find something to work with there. I have to say, that's why, you touched on it, the headshot position towards ramp, that's why it's quite rarely used. As soon as you miss a shot, you're so committed at that point. In CS Source and then the original in 1.6 as well, that position is a lot more viable. There's no Molotovs in that game.
I mean, CS Source had hitboxes on a head the size of a watermelon, so...
It was just a very prominent position in that game, as you couldn't get flushed out, right? This game, you can get Molotovs, and as soon as you miss the first shot with the AWP, T's going to rush you and swarm you. It's much better to play defensive. That's why that position, as Mixwell has demonstrated, is normally best to be avoided. So we're going to round number 25 here, of course, after picking up the round. Staying alive, going to take 6 in a row now, slowly. Surely getting back into it, but famous for Hiko here. He's had a very quiet game, I have to say. He's actually on 6 kills, Matt, and 21 deaths. And for a superstar signing, that's not looking too good.
It's not too good at all. And you had to wonder, Hiko, I imagine, facilitates the deal to get out of Liquid, always looking for the best opportunity, always a businessman. But his play style has to complement the team he joins. Kirby will take down Tarek. Good start for Astralis. Hiko limited to the hut once more. He's been almost desperate to get this game rolling. He hasn't had that position played into. Perhaps either in Astralis, knowing that he likes to play this position, haven't let him get rolling in that sense as he continues to look toward main entrance. Dupree slipped in below Hiko. He's inside of the hut, but not facing yet. And Device knows he's there. Immediately scopes in. Down he goes. From above, Nafly doesn't even get a kill. Just falls to Glaive immediately. Rush is trapped in the corner of that state. That's done. Astralis, they read them so well and get every kill required.
Yeah, we have to remember as well, that's both pistols going in favor of OpTic and still only picking up 9 rounds at the gun rounds. Just looks like a struggle ultimately.
It also means that Astralis are the first team to move into the playoffs. They'll have tomorrow off. Go see the Grand Canyon and drive through it with a nice Audi Quattro that won't get stuck. It also means they've won the group stages without winning a pistol round.
Yeah, that's kind of insane, isn't it? Well, there's always a question mark when a team wins a major. Are they going to replicate the form going forward in the big tournaments? It seems to be a bit of a curse sometimes in history, but they seem to be better than ever. That was a fantastic showing from them. You can't really take too much away from it. It's the first tournament, this one for Hiko. It's playing against the current champions of the world, and obviously they'll focus a little bit too heavily on strategies there, but still, it's an improvement for them. They're going to see whether they can kind of develop this team and go forward, but yeah, didn't do too well today.
No, definitely not. And Hiko didn't get anything going on the T side. Obviously, they did struggle with gun rounds.
Throughout the whole game,
and exactly, the CT side, the shotgun round, he's late. He's hoping they're going to come up or late to rotate. Once he has a shotgun, he's out of the equation on a rotation anyway and on a retake. And then they never really go up, or the one round they do, they know he's going to be on top of hut. Device just scopes and nails them.
Just need to get back to basics, really. Didn't see many defaults coming in there. Like just the smoke, outside smokes, get towards lower. Let's try a split at that point. Just going nothing for 40 seconds. Full execution. That had gaps in it as well. Forgetting to do Molotov the hut and actually not using effective flashbangs. And this looked very simple for Dupree to mow them down almost every single time.
Take the pistols out of this game, and that's a 16-4 scoreline.
Yeah.
I mean, they made it look much closer than that. But that said, Smix is standing by. We won't keep her waiting.
Congratulations, Dupree. To no one's surprise, you guys are moving on to the playoffs, but it must be noted, despite going 0-4 in pistols, yesterday you guys only lost 5 rounds, and today to a much tougher opponent, only 9 rounds. So I'd say you guys are playing pretty fucking unreal right now.
Yeah, we're playing confident. Everyone's hitting their shots, and we're like, the communication could be better. Like, we're still in, every time when you start out a tournament, it's very much like, you need to like start over again, and like you get the communication going, and like everyone has to remember how it is to play on LAN and all that stuff. So we're getting there. Like the communication is getting better. We played against Complexity yesterday. Wasn't the toughest opponent. Today OpTic, they're a better team obviously, but we still have to step up the communication for the playoffs.
Now, speaking of OpTic, they are a team you've played so many times. It feels like every LAN you face them. This time, though, it was a bit different because it was with Hiko and not Stanislaus. So, headed into this match, did you think that it'd be a little bit different by any chance?
Well, no, not really. I think Stan had a really important role in OpTic back in the days, and I think right now Hiko's a really new player. Like, obviously a new player. That's the first LAN together, and they haven't really had that much time to practice, I guess. So I think they need more time to get Hiko all, like fitting into the team. But I think in the end they might actually do something good for them. Hiko's a really good player, and I think he can bring he brings a lot of experience with him as well. So overall, I think OpTic is gonna do well in some time, but right now it was kind of easy to feel like sometimes in some of the tough situations that they had a new guy.
And speaking of as a team that has gone through changes with OpTic, there's plenty of other teams at this event that have also gone through a lot of roster changes, and even teams that haven't had roster changes are kind of underperforming and having surprising results. So when you've looked at the teams that have performed already, is there any team that you feel like, I don't know, a result stood out to you, or a team that you feel like impressed you?
Obviously SK, I think, is the one to watch out for right now. I think they're very hungry to get back on the top, and I know that Phillips is a really good player. I know that they're very dedicated guys. So I think SK is the one to watch out for, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go in the final this one. I just have this gut feeling. So I think an SK Astralis final would be pretty cool. I'm not going to say anything specific about that, but that would be really cool. I mean, and Fnatic, you know how good Fnatic can play. I've been watching one of the games Fnatic played, and it still feels like they're just playing this ping style. So if they face against a good team that probably knows how to play and just know how to counter that style, I think it's going to be tough for them. But obviously they're really good individuals, so everything can happen, I believe.
I want to just, this is my last question to you because Taz was very vocal about what his thoughts were on Fnatic. And speaking of that loose playing style, this is obviously the old roster that had that 6-event winning streak. So just what are your thoughts? Do you still feel like they can be that team they once were, or what?
It's tough to say. I think we need a lot more time to show that. I don't know why they split up in the first place, and obviously I don't know if it was because they didn't win or there were some internal problems. It's not really my business anyway. They're extremely good players. They've all won majors, and like I think they're just really experienced. I mean, like I think Fnatic can get back to the point where they're going to be a top 3 team in the world, but it's going to take some time. And I think they might have to change up their playstyle a little bit because I think people are very used to how they play. So time will tell. But obviously there's some great guys. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, thank you very much as always, Dupree, and best of luck in the playoffs.
Thanks very much, Sue Pottymouth Lee.
Dollar in the swear jar.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to have one backstage after that. Absolutely disgraceful. OJ would remind us it's all a family show. Now, though, we have to start talking about what just happened, what just occurred. Astralis, in Sue's words, no surprise, are locked into the playoffs. And I think the first observation being made by many is that they did so without a single pistol round under their belt, right, Chad? I mean, they go 0-4 in pistols. The casters have said it, Twitter has said it, we're saying it. It's a big feat to have done so well to the first team in the playoffs and not a single influential pistol won.
That's really impressive. That shows they are the best team in that group. Because even though it's best of ones, right, you know, you might win both pistols and then win the map, and that kind of is like how you get across the line. But they didn't win any pistols, still managed to win super convincingly. It just shows across the board they're a better team. When they have guns in their hand, when they have the utility, they are dominant, and they're looking very solid. You don't see them looking stressed in situations, especially when they're down in numbers. They're still making the right decisions, they're still making the right plays, and everybody's able to get the frags they need to.
Yeah, someone who else was down in numbers was actually Hiko on that frag board. You can see just 8 for him.
It's a hard map to lurk on, right? Nuke is a very difficult map to be a lurker on. I don't think I know he's always played Hut as the CT player, but I think he'd be better suited to somewhere like Ramp, only having to worry about that and then dropping back to a more passive position. On Hut, there's a lot going on, and the type of player he is, it's probably better at Ramp.
Yeah. Jason, what did you make of that shotgun play?
Didn't much like it. I think it's about time that shotgun thing gets just put to rest. Like it's okay situation. Like actually, the funny thing is, I wouldn't have minded seeing it at the end when he had the FAMAS on top of Hut and he got wrecked by device of the AWP. When you have a low econ buy, I don't mind the shotgun up there if you're gonna have a FAMAS because that gun's just not very good anyways. But also, I mean, we had the conversation, Chad, in the background when that was happening. When they lose a player, you know, it's like, you're saying, why doesn't he just push Hut? You need to get information, so try and take control. But my opinion is that the shotgun with that kind of a range, you can't take control of it. You can get the info, and then if he misses his timing, if he misses his judgment on when to rotate down to lower, in that 3-on-2 or 3-on-3 in the lower bomb site for the retake, he's just useless. All he has is a shotgun, and every single battle you take is going to be long range. So it's nice if they come at you, but otherwise it's just tough.
Does anything really spring to mind of like a moment when that shotgun has been superior to that of an SMG? Like
I mean, at the major they had a really good round. I think it was against Na'Vi where he just got a bunch of kills at the upper part. They all rushed him.
I mean, we've seen
he also had a couple very effective rounds when he joined the IBA Power roster right before they got banned.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Online?
Yeah, online. Yeah, against NA.
Well, there you go. I mean, because we've seen the Mag 7 do damage. I don't know if we've ever seen the auto shot do anything.
That's the thing. I just on like we see it very situationally though, right? Like when you normally think of that shotgun where it's doing damage, sometimes it's in drop on Cobble, sometimes it's on Cobble with snacks, sometimes it's going to be Hut, but we don't see those kind of massive executions coming out of that Hut anymore that would make that useful.
Something I want to touch on that OpTic were doing was they had really good strategies. I liked the way that they approached the game. Unfortunately, they didn't get enough map control. So they went back and did the executes maybe too early before they had that full yard control, which you need to do because you need to force the rotations of the CTs. So props to Peacemaker for being able to get these executes up to scratch. And in the future, I think it'll be an exciting map for them. But just they're outclassed a little bit.
Thing is, though, how are you going to ever get map control, especially outside, if Device just gets the first pick every time?
True.
Yeah.
And all he does is get the first pick, fade away, call in someone, and then immediately they're in control.
Isn't Smoke's the answer to that?
I mean, well, the start of the T side looked really good for OpTic, and then it was there. It was Device shuts that down, and then you could see the next round they go to an upper execute, and brilliant play from the defense up there. There was a Molotov thrown at door right when the execute comes in, so then they just delete the half of the split coming out Hut, and then the very next round after that, they try and go ramp room, and they get like double killed by Kirby, I think it was, and he just drops down, and then it's like, well, all 3 options have now been exhausted. You've lost.
I mean, something that Henry said just before they threw over to us that stuck out to me was that he thought OpTic were too reliant on strategy Chad, what do you make of that? A team, I mean, when they've got good strategy, it was evident. I mean, we saw those executes, the lineups, the wallbang from Mixwell that we were all shouting and screaming about. There was evidence of real preparation done.
And that's cool. That's cool to see that. But that's what I was saying about the map control, right? So it's all good to have the strategy, but you need to have a certain amount of map control before you can do it. Okay. So there were some nice things that they did do when they had the map control. I think it was Naf who went up the vent when they did a top split. And that was early on in the half.
That was sick.
And that was good because they had the map control and then they were able to play with the rotations. He opened the door downstairs and threw a Molotov holding the player in the bomb site, and then they hit top site together. It was good. But I think, maybe a bit more free-flowing, getting Mixwell to find the kills. But like Duncan said, it's hard to find Device outside. If you flash him off a line, he's not going to hang around. He'll fall back to the next line. So the ground you've taken is good, but he's still going to grab that one kill.
Plus, that's an example of where he actually said in an interview before the major that he's been studying his own heat maps from games, just so that, like, if there's a certain round where he feels like they're going to key in on me, then he'll just play a different spot than where he normally plays. Like, it's going to be very difficult to predict that, because normally you want to know, like, a Kenny S is going to be the same spot every round. Guardian, you know roughly where they're going to be. So that kind of throws a new wrinkle in there if you've studied the demos, like you watched yesterday's game and thought, right, probably play similarly.
It's true. I mean, whenever we jump into his perspective, he's somewhere else, some different angle, and even picking up collateral kills. Closing thoughts from you, Jason, before we
just that execution from OpTic was sick when they gained that outside control and split the upper site, but we also have to remember that, that was the round where Device had invested in pistol armor in the second round, so he didn't even have an AWP that round. So once he got the op in his hands, it's like that just got shut down. So that just highlights that even more.
Yeah, well, that is Group A done for the day. We can actually bring it up so you guys can visualize what that means for OpTic. It is going to be North that stands against them to secure the second playoff spot available within the group. Astralis are through, the first team to be locked in and guaranteed a trip to the arena that is being set up as we speak. OpTic North. Okay, worth remembering that we're going to be seeing that one tomorrow, and now we do get to look forward to Virtus Pro Gambit. We head to Group B, and this could very well be, as many have thought, to be the game of the day. Virtus Pro Gambit, and I think a lot of us are crossing our fingers and toes for a Cobble game just to see what happens, right? Cobble over Pasienko was throwing into the mix. It is going to be good, and there's no doubt about it. We are going to have to take a quick break, though, so the players can get their bums in seats, but when we do return, we get to see Virtus Pro do battle for that top spot and take a spot in the playoffs. Or will it be none other than Gambit, the dark horse of tournaments before, and perhaps even this one? Join us after that.
After the break on DreamHack Masters, Virtus Pro versus Gambit.